I'm going to tell you today about some of the pens that I like. Some of the technical, some roller balls, some ballpoints, and maybe a few other weird ones, or weirder ones. And let's start with the paper. And if you're going to use any pens, really, you need to think about also the paper that you're going to use them on, because I think people don't think about the paper very often, and they get bad results because they use the wrong paper, whether it was too thin or it bleeds or whatever happens, and they think the pen is to blame, but it's often the paper. And so we're going to use this paper. This is a Pentalic paper for pens, and it's 110 pound, and it's ultra smooth, so it's going to be, and I don't usually use smooth paper, but in this case, this is like one of the few that I like. It's even smoother than what was the last time that I used? Oh, the Borden Riley. So, yeah. But it's very good. It keeps good detail. It's very good with even brush pens and stuff, so you can get like really nice detail. Like I would use this for like very small detailed things if I didn't want to work large. Anyways, so the most ubiquitous pen, I guess, is this for technical pens. This is a Micron made by Sakura, and it's just a good all-arounder. It's very good and solid, and I would always suggest, if you're buying them in a store, to check them out first, to make sure that they haven't been dried out in the store. Somebody maybe tried it out and didn't put the cap back on, or whatever, so you want to do that. But this is what they look like, basically. They have a felt tip, and so that means you're going to get a little bit of drag on the paper, but that also kind of means more control in a sense. So, and you're definitely going to get a very consistent line, which is very useful if you're doing anything mechanical or technical, which is why they're called technical pens. Whoa. Anyways, so I like this one a lot, and it's also not that expensive. So, even though you throw them away when they are used up, but they're fine. These are the go-tos. These are like a standard in the industry, I'd say. You can even use them to like letter if you wanted to. Like you can do like some, write some bad words or whatever you like. Another company that makes something similar, very similar actually, is Copic, and these are their version of the same thing basically. These are the Copic Multiliners, and they are also disposable and cheap, but also very consistent and easy to use, and they pretty much go through the same sizes, so you can get pretty much the same thing. And this one's just much, much thinner, as you can see. But again, and again, there's a little bit of drag on the end. So it's something to get used to, and again, depending on what kind of paper you're using it on. There's a more expensive version, though, that Copic makes, which is this. And it's the Copic Multiliner, in this case SP, which is, and the good thing about these is this, that you can remove the tip. So when it goes bad, which they always do, you can remove it and change it out. And you can also change the ink by removing this, and there's like a cartridge in there. So if you're the kind of person that doesn't want to throw away pens, this might be the pen for you. And I like them, but I kind of don't like the feel of the metal, so I don't use it very often. It's just a personal preference of mine. I don't like the coldness always. So I don't know. I prefer almost plastic or anything really else. So those are the technical pens that I use most of the time. They're consistent and they're easy to use, and most of them are cheap. This one's not cheap, but like I said, you can keep it going for a long time if you want. The other types of pens that I enjoy are these, which are roller balls. And this is probably my favorite one of these. This is the Pilate Gtech, and this is my favorite size too, the 0.25. It might be the smallest they make. But this is just a very fast pen. So unlike the other ones, which were kind of they would drag it on the paper, this pen does not drag on the paper. This pen is very fast. So it just kind of flies. So if you want to make quick doodles of anything, just, I don't know, I just sometimes just throw it at the paper, almost, just to see what happens. You can slowly start creating textures or whatever you want, really, and building up. And it's just messy on purpose, and it's kind of fun, and obviously you can see how thin it is, and I don't know. I really like this pen a lot. I use it a lot. I've gone through a lot of these. And you can actually, and for these you can just buy new cartridges too, like on Jetpens or whatever. So that's one of my favorites. Another pen, so these are two actually that I used for a while, and they're a little bit slower. So there's two sizes that I like. This is the 0.28, this is the Uniball Signo, and this is the 0.28, and then there's an even smaller one, which is the 0.18. So this one, so this is basically the same as the one I showed before, the Gtech, but this one is insane. Like, I don't even know if I can show how small it is. It's just, I don't know. It's great. It's great for detail. Like, sometimes I'm drawing so small and I don't know why I've done it to myself, and then I use this pen and it just like works, and I'm like, well, I'm glad I had this pen. So the only thing with this pen is that it is so small that the tip can bend on you sometimes if you're too rough with it, so you have to get used to it. But I have a fairly light touch, so it works for me very well. I like these a lot, and you can get I think you can still get these on Jetpens, although sometimes they're out, I don't know. But again, you can just also replace the cartridge. So it's whatever you want. So moving on. This is a Pilate High-Tech-C mica, and this is basically the same thing as the Gtech. It says it's a 03 or whatever that is, and I don't know what that means. It's basically the same as the 0.25, maybe slightly bigger. But again, it's a very fast pen, and I like that. I think the ink is pretty much the same. But I like it a lot for just fast throwing at the paper kind of things. And, it's kind of messy, but that's what I like about it. I like how chaotic it is. I like giving up control sometimes with these pens and just seeing what happens. So it's basically the same pen. It's just a slightly different feel when you're holding it, which is actually something that matters to me. And then this is a pen that I use recently. I've started using. It's the Pentel Sleeky or Sleeky. I don't know how to say it. Sleeky. It's the 0.025, and this one is fun for me because it's slightly slower, I want to say, but it flows really nicely. Like, it feels slightly slower on certain papers, but it's very, I don't know, there's something really nice about it. Maybe it's the size of it, I'm not sure. That's one of the things that I don't think people really think about that much, is how the pen actually feels in your hand, right? So how you're holding it and what the feel is. Like, this one has like little ridges here, and maybe it's just small, and I don't know, there's something about it that I really like, and so I use it a lot. And they make a couple of different colors of it, and so I use like the red and orange and something else, maybe a blue. But these are fun. These are kind of my go-to right now at this moment. And then I do use also some ballpoint pens. Really, any ballpoint pen works if you're going to use a ballpoint, right? So this is this is the auto slimline, and it's very small. You can see, you know, it's I forget what size. I think it's a 0.5 or something. There's different sizes there, like a 0.7 and 0.5 and even a 0.3, but the 0.3 is too small for me. So I like these pens because there's actually a lot of control you can get with these, and so they're great for drawing actually slightly more kind of precise things, for me at least. And depending on what kind of paper you're using it on, you can get all kinds of different effects, because the ink is so thick that it'll actually kind of like float on top, so you can get like, you can create gradients a little bit. And yeah, I don't know, it's just kind of this is my go-to ballpoint. It's very small, and I don't know, the ink just works for me very well. It doesn't leave a big mess, because if you know anything about ballpoints, they will eventually build up some ink right here, and then you kind of have to clean it off, you know, on the tip. But this one doesn't do that very often, so I don't know, for me it works very well. So I like this one. Also, when I was carrying a wallet still, I got this pen, which is even smaller, because I'm a crazy person, apparently. But let's see if I can even open it. I haven't opened it in a while. So yeah, so basically it fits inside its own cap. And then you open it up and push it together. And this is another auto. This is called the pettit-b. Let's see if you can see it. Anyways, doesn't really matter. You can find it on jet pens. It comes in different colors. This one is like a gray, I don't know. But it's the same size as the slimline. And so I basically get the same thing out of it. The same feel, the same kind of like control that I want. I use these pens a lot on toned paper, actually, because it's great for sketching, because it kind of gets lost in the paper, and then you can kind of build it up and kind of bring it out and make it work, to make the drawings basically come to life slowly. So it's kind of like sketching with pencil almost sometimes, except you're doing it with pen. I don't know. Ballpoints are also just like a psychological thing for me. Like, I remember as a kid using them a lot, so this is just a more fancy kind of version of that, instead of just stealing one from like the, you know, gas station or the bank or something. You're actually getting kind of a quality product that is actually works really well for a specific thing. Like in this case, for me, it's drawing, or, you know, I'm sure people do some writing. I'm sure it works for that as well. But anyways, so this is the pettit-b, which I like quite a bit. And then some weird pens, because I feel like this video isn't long enough. This is a kind of a popular pen, obviously, in the technical drawing community, or at least notorious pen, the Rapidograph. And this pen is they come in, let's see how many sizes they have. So they come in all these different sizes. And they're specifically for the purpose of technical drawing. They have their own ink. They have their own, like, you can take them apart in a specific way, and all these other things. Let me see if I can find it. So yeah, so they have their own. This is their ink, which you have to use, because otherwise they'll clog up on you, and they'll still clog up on you. But they come apart, so they're kind of a weird. It's kind of a weird thing where, like, if you really love pens and you really love putting a lot of time into, like, just taking care of a pen and kind of dealing with it, this is the pen for you. Like, if you want to really just obsess over a pen, because basically at some point it's going to clog up on you, because there's a little tiny little mechanism in there that moves when you push it down. And you, by the way, to even use it, it has to be like facing basically straight down to work properly. You can slightly angle it, but if it works best like this, right? And this one doesn't even work because this one's clogged up and I have to clean it out. But it comes apart in like so many ways. So there's like a little reservoir that you can put ink in, and then there's a little section, and there's a little plunger that if it wasn't all sticky right now, it would move. And the tip comes out, like you can unscrew the tip. Like, it's kind of crazy. It's you can take it all apart and kind of, you can even like buy a specific cleaner for it, and like, I don't know, it's a finicky pen to say the least. It's way too much work for me. I don't want to mess with it. I just want to pick up a pen and have it work, even if I haven't used it in like a month. And this is not the pen that will do that for you. This is a pen that you have to kind of set up and then like kind of use consistently, and then take care of when you start feeling it that it's not working on you, to clean it out and kind of reset it. So this is not and it's expensive too. That's part of the issue with it, is that you buy one and then you like feel like you have to take care of it, and then you don't. I don't know. It's not for me. It's too finicky. Anywho, and then another random pen, which is something that is like, a couple of friends of mine really like this pen. This is a kind of a chaos pen, I think of it. It's the parallel pen from Pilate, and it's basically like a calligraphy pen. So, you know, you can do stuff like that if you want. But people, I think it started with like, I think the first person I saw using it this way was Ashley Wood, where he would actually draw with it. So he would like use the kind of weird things it would do, which were like kind of scuzzy and weird, and I don't know. It's like, and yeah, and this one also you kind of have to clean out every once in a while. But like you can like, you know, get a thin line, but then you can turn it slightly and do like weird things. And I have friends that like it, and this one is too much chaos for me. Even though I like some chaos in my lines and some unpredictability, this is too much, because I can't control it. I can't ever seem to get it to do the thing I want it to do. So I have to like give up all this control, and that's not, I don't know, I can't do it. But it's an interesting pen nonetheless if you're like looking for some interesting ways to like do quick sketching, or do some interesting weird kind of lines, some variety, right? I don't know. I think I could probably figure out ways to use it to get effects I like. But yeah, I just wanted to share it. I don't use this pen very often. I'll mess with it sometimes, but it's not useful to me in the same way as the other ones are. All right, that's it. That's some of the pens I like. Wow, I spent way too much time talking about pens, but I do love them, so there you go.